I get 9 hours of sleep every day. I very rarely go to sleep at a late time. And this is important because the majority of people, surprisingly, do not. They stay up really late. People of ages 12 to 19 get 5 to 7 hours of sleep, which is 5 to 3 hours below their recommended sleep hours that you should get. The recommended sleep hours is like 9 to 10. I've also met a lot of people that stay up until 3 a.m. Like a lot of people. Seriously, I barely know anyone that doesn't stay up really late. Like right now, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who goes to bed at like a really good time. And I've also met someone and have been really good friends with this person. He would stay up until 5 a.m. every day, you know, get like 1 hour of sleep. He was always tired and suffered the consequences of a lack of sleep. This trend is starting to be everywhere at this point. This has been increasing for a while now and no one's addressing it. I don't know why. Why aren't we addressing the lack of sleep these days? Because sleep is so important. I want to make a separate video on how good sleep is, but essentially sleep does this, right? Increases your testosterone and hormones as like a man or a woman. It increases your growth. Like if you sleep more, you will get more taller. It's good for your circadian rhythm, because that's what circadian rhythm is built in for sleep. It restores all your energy and does all this other wonderful stuff. And that's how we're so resilient as human beings. But everyone's lacking sleep these days. And I don't expect people to start realizing how valuable sleep is. Like I said, I've only really known a couple people who go to sleep at an early time similar to me. If you don't know, when I go to sleep, it's usually 8:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. So why is this the case? In this video, I'm going to answer the question of why so many people are just staying up for no reason. Why do they stay up late these days? Why don't they sleep earlier for a healthier time? And the answer begins to make sense when you look into it, because it's like there's many factors at play here that occur for people to just not sleep at all, but it all comes to a singular household item. Well, actually 2 household items. If you've done your research before, you probably already know. However, before I reveal it, I want to say in this video, we will explain why people stay up late, as well as how you can reverse these effects, how you can reverse your poor sleep. Because here's a story. I had this friend, right? I don't talk to him anymore, but he thought he had insomnia and he would stay up ridiculously late all the time and he hated it. It made him partly depressed, I think. But here's the interesting thing. When he had got a partner and they were, you know, in bed together, I guess, she stopped him from using his phone. And thus his sleep just got better to the point where he realized he doesn't have insomnia anymore. And what I just said right there pretty much reveals what this is. So first of all, that proves you can indeed repair your sleep so easily like that. And second of all, we know what causes it. It's your phone and your computer. So I hope this video convinces you to start going to bed early and it makes you do that actually. So you'll be surprised at how much problems your phone causes you when it comes to sleeping. We will be talking about blue light today, but it's not just blue light coming from your screen. The mistake that many people make is that they create this belief where they think they just can't sleep at all. Like I said with my friend, he thought he had insomnia, but he doesn't have insomnia. So what ends up happening is that they use a phone as a smoother. I know some of these friends. I tell them, why don't you just go to sleep? And they're like, I can't. I'm just gonna scroll on my phone all day instead. And it's like, you're ruining your sleep by doing that. That's why you can't sleep, because you have your phone glued to your face and you're using it as a distraction, which we'll get onto that bit. So what they're doing is that they get bored and then they just numb their minds out. Or maybe because they feel uneasy when sleeping, because we all get those weird experiences when we're trying to sleep and then suddenly there's a thought of us, I don't know, falling off a building. I get those a lot, but here's the thing. I got used to that feeling. Like I really did. I got used to the feeling of, oh no, I'm about to die. I want to fall asleep, so I'm not going to make it worse for me. So this is what happens, right? They go to bed, they feel disturbed or bored, they pick up their phone and they scroll. And they just scroll until 3 a.m. And they've already stayed up longer than they should have. Why can't they just fall asleep? Well, their phones sabotage their sleep. They may have a nightlight option on, you know, the red light, but they're scrolling on TikTok. Now their brains don't want to sleep. So what's going on there? Let's first touch on the blue light, the obvious culprit. So how does the blue light keep you awake? So the science behind it is that when you look at blue light, it tells your circadian rhythm that it's daytime, because that's what you see outside, a blue sky. So it's daytime, obviously. So the blue light on your phone tricks your brain into thinking that it's time to be active, because hunter-gatherer humans would just walk outside and boom, it's time to hunt because it's daytime. And what happens there is that your brain's melatonin production shuts off, and thus you produce less melatonin and sleep just becomes so much more difficult, because blue light is supposed to affect your alertness and heart rate. So the funny part of all of this is that every screen has a blue light, and you can turn this situation off by just putting on red light, right? But that doesn't fully eliminate the problem, surprisingly. I would say you should have red light just enabled at all times. and you should stop using your phone when you go to bed. Blue light also massively affects your eye strain and a lot of other things. And if you want to see a video on that, please tell me, because I'd love to make a video on like blue light's effect on your body. But basically, when you look at blue light, it can last up to 3 hours, surprisingly. It can last up to 3 hours. And it might depend on the dosage of blue light you just got. Maybe you went up to like the TV screen, you looked at it for like 5 seconds. It might. We don't know. So you want to make sure to avoid blue light 3 hours before bed. Which, look, it is very difficult when you live with other people. Like I live with my family currently. I wish to move out, but my parents have the TV on at all times. They can't have it off. I have to try to avoid the screens while walking around the house, and that's difficult. But turning on your red light on your phone and your computer is enough to affect your sleep positively. So now you turned your red light on your devices. What else is causing you issues with sleeping? Well, today's society is hyper-stimulated. People want to be entertained. I've gone to the point in my life where I kind of don't want to be entertained. I would rather be working. However, people want to be entertained these days. No more do people want to build something, because that's what we used to do. We used to just get bored and just build automatically. But now we have entertainment. And what happened is that everyone's just stuck being entertained every hour. The problem this poses with sleep is that people want to be entertained when they're going to sleep, and this causes a number of problems I will get into. They're distracting themselves when they're supposed to not have any distractions around them when they're trying to sleep. Because what I do is that I just go to bed, no distractions, and I just sit there. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be bored while going to sleep. And I'll use TikTok as an example because TikTok actually affects sleep the worst. It affects it the most out of all the other apps, surprisingly. And I know a lot of people who endlessly scroll on TikTok at night. TikTok is the worst app for disrupting your sleep, according to mensmentalhealth.com. And they used a study by Sleep Junkie. People who scroll on TikTok usually get an hour of their sleep removed from scrolling on the app around their sleep time, which is actually quite insane. They get an hour removed just like that because of TikTok. And when they do fall asleep, they spend 14% of that sleep in REM stage, which is very low. It's below half of the recommended amount of REM sleep you need. Compare this to people who ditch their phones before bed. Their REM stage takes up about 23% of the sleep cycle, which is so much better. So why does TikTok affect the REM? So we all know that TikTok's just bad for your brain. You scroll on it and it's like a slot machine. It's very similar to how a slot machine works. With a slot machine, you have a lever, you pull it, and you're waiting for an action. It's very easy to do. While with TikTok, you scroll down, you're waiting for a result, like a better video to watch. And this really hurts your dopamine receptors. It gives you brain fry, changes your brain structure. There's all this kind of stuff. And the study that I just spoke about, Sleep Junkie, they reckon that how TikTok affects your REM stage sleep largely comes down to those dopamine effects I just spoke about. And this is what I would say is the truth. I've believed this for a while now. The stimuli you gain from TikTok stays within your head for a while. Your dopamine receptors are broken, which ends up blocking your melatonin neurotransmitter. So not only does it take longer to sleep now, your melatonin production during sleep is greatly disrupted, which explains why REM sleep is so sabotaged. And stimulation before going to bed, not just, in bed, also affects your sleep. The recommended amount of time away from stimuli, away from TikTok and social media before you go to bed is around 2 hours. And I know you're going to look at that and be like, oh, that's really hard to do. I don't know how to do that. What I do, I did this yesterday. I go outside and watch the sunset. I did that with my cat out the front and my sleep was so good. And the cruelest part is the dopamine people get from using TikTok. They're more inclined to stay up because of dopamine. Because dopamine is your motivator chemical, right? It motivates you to do stuff. So when you get a lot of dopamine from TikTok, it just motivates you to keep doing it, right? And this is cruel because when people are trying to sleep, they're more motivated to just look on TikTok now, and it keeps going and going, and it takes more time off their sleep. And this creates an effect where people are just endlessly scrolling when they're in bed trying to fall asleep, but they can't. So they never actually want to go to bed because of this. I've had nights, some late nights where I stayed up an hour late before past my bedtime. And this is because I was indulging in some sort of entertainment. Like when I used to game, this would happen a lot. Or maybe I was scrolling on YouTube or something, or listening to music. They all disrupted my perfect sleep time. And a lot of people, they do this because they're bored. But just go to bed. It will eliminate the problem. Go to bed and wait. So now we know the answer to why people stay up. It's because of entertainment. They're too busy being entertained to go to bed. So now let's give you the wisdom to eliminate this problem forever. So with this problem in mind, the issue is your dopamine receptors, right? First of all, I always speak about this on this channel, change your brain structure. Amygdala is big, your prefrontal cortex is small. Meditate, go outside in nature, and just detox off of social media. This should change your brain structure dramatically. And I also recommend in the morning you do something active instead of scroll on social media as well, because that will also impact your brain structure. So I want to do that. The reason why that's important is because that's just going to help you sleep better. Less nervous falls. You also want to make sure your phone is in like a different room. I have my phone at the other side of the house, so I never use it when I'm in this room. You want to keep your phone away from you, because if it's next to you, you're gonna either 1, check it when you're going to sleep because it's a habit, or 2, check it when you wake up because it's the easiest thing to do in the morning, so why not just do it? In fact, this is just general practice. Keep your phone away from you at all times unless you actually need it, like you're going outside somewhere, you know? It's just a bad thing to have around you. And to combat blue light, of course, you can turn on the red light on your computers and phones, but here's something you must do. Before you go to bed, when the sun is setting, watch the sun. Watch the sun go down. It'll improve your sleep dramatically. So what is going on there when you look at the sun go down? When you watch the sunset, your body's clock gets notified that it's time to go to sleep. So thus, blue light's actually blocked from entering your eyes now. So your body protects your eyes from blue light and instead will pick up all the black light and you'll start to produce melatonin. And that's perfect. That's actually a very good solution. So you should start doing that every single day. And you're also going to want to have your lights off 30 minutes before you go to sleep, okay? Because you want that melatonin production to kick in. Because that's what darkness does. It notifies your brain that, hey, it's nighttime now. So now I want you to start going to bed earlier. Here's a thing. This is what I'm going to tell you. If you want to go to bed earlier, you need to make it a habit. So if you go to bed at 3 a.m. today, you go to bed at 2 a.m. Tomorrow, you go to bed at 1 a.m. Then the day after that, you go to bed at 12. Reduce it until you get to 9 and stay there. And just keep going to bed at 9. And then it'll become a habit, just like that. Because going to bed early for me is a habit, you know? It's just a habit that I do every single day. So I hope this video helped you go to bed earlier. I think sleep is very important and I prioritize it most out of anything in my life. Keep never quitting.